Welcome back to PericoKarting. Today we're back at Fast Lane Karting in Stoke, which is my local track, and at the moment it's my personal favourite track. In the last video, I hit the track by myself to try and whittle my lap times down into the 27s from 28s. Today, however, I've shown up to the track with my mates. That's Josh in front of me, and that behind me is Ryan Goes Karting. So today I'm not alone, and there's also going to be a couple back markers that we're going to have to deal with on the first session as well, so that should be fun to navigate. I've had some great feedback on the last video. Thank you everyone who watched that. Even if you didn't leave a comment, the messages I received on Discord were very nice. But the most common suggestion for improvement I've had was that the footage itself was shakier than jelly at a rave. Well, don't you worry, because today I'm sporting a brand new GoPro, so the footage itself should be buttery smooth. Oh, now, quick rundown of the track, just in case you missed it last time. Straight, double apex, ramp up, double apex, chicane, hairpin, down ramp, curse, double apex. You up to speed? Good. Let's continue. I am not one for wasting time, so let's just get straight to the part of the video that you clicked for. Out of the pits we come, and I've set myself two objectives for this session. Number one is to keep Josh in my sight, and number two is to keep Ryan behind me. This means I'll have to use the back markers on the track to my advantage to keep him behind me when I overtake them, like that guy in the red kids cart who I pass on the inside on the up ramp with a clean little maneuver. And as you can see, the blue flags are up. This will be a fairly common occurrence. It just keeps everything clean, stops us three while we're tearing around the track, setting 27s and a couple 26s from Ryan from intimidating any of the young people that they happen to put us on track with. And that was my first lap, nice and clean. I'm quite happy with how that one turned out. Now, you might have immediately noticed that I've got an overtake counter in the top left, even though all I'm overtaking this session is mostly back markers. The reason for that is, it's my video and I can do what I want. Sorry. It's also just to keep count of how many people I've gotten past in order to keep Ryan behind me, which is critically important to me because I desperately do not want him to get past. Because I'm here to try and prove that I have developed a race pace, and I am essentially racing against these two in order to prove that. Turn 3, and I immediately happen upon what Yuki Tsunoda would call traffic paradise. Josh expertly weaves his way in between the two back markers on the main straight and goes around the first corner like it's nothing. I, however, get a little bit fresh with the guy in front of me. I didn't anticipate that he was going that slowly, so I had to jam the brakes on a little bit. So I try a little inside maneuver on him to get by on the second straight after the up ramp. It was a bit of a mess, but he's looking back at me, he's smiling. It's not too bad. I'm not that proud of that maneuver, it was kind of messy, but the blue flag meant that he slowed down, he got out of the way. I don't have time to reflect on it though, because behind me, there he is. He's been held up by the back markers a little bit, so fortunately I've still got a bit of space in between him and me, but that space has been immediately jeopardized because this guy here has kind of slowed down a little bit, but he moves out of the way quickly enough, which means I can get past him and take a nice clean line into the second corner. I have actually now lost sight of Josh, which is unfortunate because he has done such a great job at overtaking these guys, oh there he is, that I have essentially just completely lost track of him. He has disappeared into the distance, so kudos to Josh for his ability to actually overtake these people. My overtaking skills could definitely use some work, even though I am quite fond of risky dive bombs, as a future team sport video is going to highlight. I start to approach this guy on the main straight, but the blue flags come out, so he does the gentlemanly thing and waits until he's in a safe place to let me through, and I give him a little thumbs up just to say thank you. Not everyone was that receptive to the blue flags, but it was a weekend track, I couldn't really blame them. Coming out of turn 4, and in the distance, I spot the same red cart back marker from the beginning of the video. Now, I know I can't overtake on the outside of this corner because of the barriers curving outwards, and I know that he likes to hold the inside line, so I'm patient. I hold the outside on the up ramp, I get past him, I cut the corner tight, overtake two at once because of that guy going a bit too deep into the corner, and I know now that until the blue flags wave, those two are going to hold Ryan up, so I celebrate with all the grace and decorum of a frat boy. Me gloating like that definitely has not helped because I get a nice clean entry into turn 3, look behind me, and there he is. And because there are no back markers in front of me that I could use as a weapon, it means I now have to do a completely clean drive to keep him behind me. No mistakes, no errors, because the facts are, he is faster than me. Check out his YouTube channel. He's winning a championship at Midland Karting right now. He is an amazing driver, and he tries to teach me everything he knows. So big up to Ryan, but I am doing my best to keep you behind me. I'm trying my best to keep my lap clean. It's not the cleanest lap I've done. I'm a bit wide into corners. My exit from turn 3 wasn't the best there, but he's still behind me so far, although at this point he might be right up my behind. But a little while later, oh, sweet relief, a back marker. I could use that in my favour. So I get a bit of a messy exit out of turn 2, but he's still not there. The blue flag waves, and he acknowledges the flag and slows down, but he slows down right in the middle of the track, and he's slower than I expect him to be, so I accidentally give him a little bump. Coming now into turn 1, and I'm on approach with this guy again, who I accidentally bumped into the side of trying to do a dive bomb. So I'm going to try a bit of a cleaner maneuver this time. He goes a bit wide into that corner, and I'm side by side with him. I would have got by anyway, but the blue flag just means that he slows down a bit more. The blue flag means that he's also slowed down, he's on the lookout for me, looks over to me, lets me through. Nice, clean fun, and I get another couple overtakes right there. Now, quick update on where the others are. I lost Josh a couple of laps ago because of the back markers, but I spot him on the main straight just down there. I come out of turn 4, I look behind me, and Ryan is a lot further back than I expected him to be. He really suffered with the back markers, and now I think it's time to close this session out. So I get a nice clean double overtake on the down ramp heading towards turn 4, and then the guy holds up the sign, in which I nearly run into because I was taking the widest line I possibly could for some reason. This kid looks behind me, sees me. I think he tries to yield some space, but he doesn't exactly need to because I'm pulling into the pits, but kudos to him for being courteous anyway. Slowly pull into the pits, see Josh miles ahead of me, and there's still plenty of time for a little bit of banter between me and Josh before Ryan finally shows up. Mate, the back marker, I was on you, man. I was on you, the back markers held me off. Mate, I'm absolutely gapped. Like, Ryan suffered bad. Ryan's had it bad with the back markers, man. He's all the way back there now. Now, as you may remember, last video, I was doing my best to set any lap under 28 seconds. So much so that it took me 40 laps to do so, and I only managed to do it by the slightest of margins on my very last lap of the session. So, how have I been faring since that? Well, honestly, I kind of lost the timesheet for this session. It was a while ago, but trust me when I say that the laps I've been setting have been largely under 28 seconds. My consistency has improved massively over these last few weeks, to the point where I think my fastest lap in that session was a 27.4, somewhere in that area, which is good, but I know I could do better. Fortunately, the second session just has me, Josh, and Ryan on the track. No one in our way, just us to mess with each other. And my objectives stay the same. Keep Josh in my sight, and keep Ryan behind me. So let's see how I do now that I'm actually racing against people who know how to race. And out to the pits we come. I need to capitalise on the amount of time it's taking Ryan to pull out of the pits if I'm going to pull a decent gap on him. I'm going to tunnel vision Josh ahead of me to make sure that I can keep up with him. I'm really doing this just as a test for myself to prove that I've actually improved, and the only way that I can actually prove that I've improved is to keep up with the people I've been racing alongside since I started doing this as a hobby. I'm already making mistakes though because the pressure's getting to me. I go deep into turn 3, my exit from turn 4 is sloppy, I'm almost drifting there. So not the best outlap I could have done, I can definitely do better than that. The height of my mistakes comes here though, where I hit the barriers immediately after a terrible exit. I'm not quite sure what that hand gesture was from Ryan. I don't think he's celebrating my misfortune, but I'm still continuing to make mistakes, which means he's starting to close the gap on me. I take this corner kind of wide, which kind of puts him way closer than I want him to be. And then we approach turn 3, and I take it kind of wide, which means he has the kind of inside line on me, but I'm able to hold that with a slightly wider defensive line than normal. However, my entry into turn 4 means that I've slowed myself down once again. Coming back out of turn 3 this time. And if you need a reminder of just how quick Ryan is behind me, watch my exit into this corner. It's wide, it's sloppy, and because he's taken that line so much cleaner, he's already bumping the back of my kart. that mistake will mess with my head because immediately I forget to turn the steering wheel and crash directly into the barrier coming out of turn 2. I'm making all kinds of sloppy mistakes here. I get a nice clean entry into turn 3, but Ryan's in my head, and I'm not sure if he knows that because he's finding opportunities like almost coming side by side on the main straight, but I've just managed to close the gap on him. It's now obvious at this point that he's sensing opportunity. He takes this corner on the inside line, but I managed to squeeze him out. I say squeeze him out, it was more of a little bit of a messy collision that I think he himself acknowledges because he sort of just waves me through and allows it to happen. But surely he's not going to try the same thing immediately the next lap. He's not going to go for the inside line. He's going for the inside line. Ryan, you know how this ends. Yeah, it ends pretty much like that. Because of that little bump, and thanks for the little hand gesture there, Ryan, I managed to get a bit more speed coming out of that corner, which means I'm able to keep my lead ahead of him. He's still there behind me though, so I need to defend as stalwart as I can. He comes side by side to me here because I get a terrible exit coming out of turn 4, but I think my car just happens to be slightly faster, so him trying that move has actually sacrificed a bit of his speed. We are slowing each other down trying to have this battle, but it's definitely been an interesting one thus far. My favourite part of the battle is right here though. I get a worse exit than Ryan coming out of this corner. He's right next to me, but I managed to close the door and somehow retain the speed through the corner by just skirting the edge of the barrier. Here's that from his perspective. We don't make any contact if you watch that back slow enough. I managed to close the door on him with that much precision and somehow not collide into the barriers while taking the racing line. I am so happy with that move. However, that does seem to be the end of my racing prowess because of what you're about to see next. I come up towards turn 3, I lose the back end, and we have a bit of a ding-dong. That hand gesture is supposed to symbolize the fact that my back end went out, and at this point, I've had my fun. We're only here for an arrive and drive session, so we're just trying to set some lap times. So the time has unfortunately come for me to wave him through. Another session comes to an end. It wasn't exactly the outcome I wanted, but to be fair, Ryan is absolutely rapid, so it was a miracle I could keep him behind me that long. Now it's time to head off the track, compare our times, and give our thoughts on the session. Sorry about that, Ryan. I thought I'd have 10 laps of fun and then I'll wave you through. Yeah. Shame I'm not very good at racing. Ooh, oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. That's a time. Yeah, I can't keep up with you, so I just let you through because I was just going to impede you the whole race otherwise.
You're good at defending, I'll give you that. If you manage to get in front of somebody on a race and you did that, I couldn't get past you.
And there you have it, a 27.171 lap time and defense skill endorsement from RGK himself. Oh, the honor. This was a fun video to make and a fun video to record, and it's really done wonders in showcasing just how much I've improved since I've started doing this hobby. The next video will be taking place in a completely different track. Don't worry, it's not just going to be a one-trick pony the whole time. The next video is going to be taking place at Team Sport, for better or for worse. Thank you very much to everyone who's watched. If you just happened to chance upon this and you've watched all the way to the end, well, thank you for that. And, well, consider subscribing.